Toastmaster Elizabeth Ramirez. Have you ever been in a relationship so intense that you started Googling things like, am I the problem? Is love supposed to feel like a roller coaster with no seatbelt? Our next speaker says trauma bonds are like joining a cult only with less cool aid and more gas lighting. On your tables, you will find a brief handout explaining what a trauma bond is and what it is not. For the sake of today's talk, please refer to these little cards as they take us on a journey through humor, heart, and some uncomfortable truths. Please welcome to the podium Elizabeth Ramirez presenting When a Heart Joins a Cult. Elizabeth.
Have you ever accidentally joined a cult? Not the kind with robes or weird chants. The ones where you feel emotionally trapped, questioning reality, and chasing acceptance like it's a life or death sentence. Maybe you met someone, maybe you felt that spark, and then you got hooked. And then you find yourself adjusting your entire life around their disappearing acts, their mixed signals, and those little bit of crumbs that have you keep coming back for more. Well, congratulations. You just joined a trauma bond, a cult for one. It is difficult to spot, and it is just as hard to get out. Because after all, nothing says love quite like emotional whiplash and disappearing acts. Good morning, fellow Toastmasters and guests. So what is a trauma bond? Well, psychologist Patrick Carnes describes it as this deep, strong, emotional attachment that is formed by intermittent reinforcement. And intermittent reinforcement is just a very fancy way of saying, maybe I'll get love, or maybe I will be ghosted. And suddenly, you start to think to yourself, am I the problem? And you find yourself apologizing and silencing your truth. What you don't realize is that you're not just scared that they will leave, but you are slowly abandoning yourself. So, how do you get trauma bonded? Well, you form that connection, that spark. Then there's the distance. Then comes that confusion and chaos. And then you have the reconnection. And that is the hook. It's the reconnection that brings the relief. Not because you're in love. No. It's because for a brief moment, you are no longer in pain. And you're not waiting for that healthy relationship. You're waiting for that moment of relief. That moment of relief that will feel like safety. And here's what no one tells you. This isn't just emotional and all in your head. This is neurological. Because it's the cycle of unpredictability that will flood your system with dopamine, which is the reward, cortisol, the stress, and oxytocin, the bonding. And it is the exact same brain chemistry as addiction. So you will feel incredibly high when they come back, and then you will start to feel sick when they leave. And your logic is being switched off, and your body is still pining for them. At this point, you have now become a professional, unlicensed therapist for yourself. And you are doing some serious dive deeping into trauma bonds, how to regulate your nervous system, and attachment theories. Because who needs Netflix when you have real life drama and a PhD in chaos? And here is the irony. It's not the people with low self-esteem that get drawn into these trauma bonds. No. It's really smart, emotionally intelligent, and self-aware people. They get drawn into this because they don't run away from brokenness. They lean into it. They see someone and they go, oh, they're in pain. Maybe I can help them. They ignore all the red flags, not because they're weak, it's because of hope. But in the wrong relationship, this hope becomes quite a form of self-betrayal because you're not loving who they are. You're loving who they could be. You start saying things like, you know what, the next time they ghost me, that's it. I'm not going back. Then they come back and you go, oh my God, I think I'm going crazy. What is happening? Why do I still fall for this person? I'm in love, but I feel anxious all the time. Here is the cold, hard truth. You are not weak. You are not broken. You are chemically addicted. So when someone says, why don't you just leave? Like, what's wrong with you? It's like asking someone who's in withdrawal, why do you still crave the thing that is destroying you? You don't stay because you're broken. You stay because your nervous system has been hijacked. It believes your entire survival depends on that next hit. It depends on that relief. And even when this relationship ends, the bond doesn't. You can go months without that contact, but then you may feel, you know what, I'm going to reach out because I want closure and I want to say what I need to say. And you don't get back anger or cruelty, you get silence. And that silence is harder than the heartbreak ever did. Because it's not just rejection. It's the realizing that you thought what love wasn't love after all. It was a pattern. It was a pattern that you was chasing approval, bending over backwards to their unpredictability, and sacrificing your own needs. So how do you get out? Well, breaking trauma bonds is not just about walking away. It's about reclaiming your reality. You have to name it for what it is. It's not love. It's not bad timing. And it's not your twin flame or your soul connection. It's a trauma bond. And yes, it's overwhelming because fantasy is where trauma bonds live and reality is where they die. You don't break the bond by being stronger for them. You break it by refusing to abandon yourself one more time. And healing begins when you stop romanticizing it and start grieving the truth. Real love doesn't punish you for needing clarity. It doesn't disappear to teach you a lesson. It doesn't come back just to keep you questioning your worth. So if you are still asking yourself why I stayed, maybe the real question isn't why you stayed or why did you fall for someone like that. Maybe the real question is, what if the person I was always trying to save was me? Thank you.